Almighty God, who in thy wisdom and goodness has appointed the offices of rulers and parliament for the welfare of society and just government of men. We beseech thee to behold with thy abundant favor us thy servants whom thou hast been pleased to call to the performance of important trust in this land. Let thy blessing descend upon us here in this house assembly. Grant us that we may treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner, to promote thy honor and glory, to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of this country, and of those whose interests thou hast committed to our church. Amen. You can be seated.
Communication from the chair.
Honorable members, may I welcome you all to the third extraordinary session of the National Assembly in the 2022 legislative year. Equally, may I welcome His Excellency, the Vice President, and all honorable ministers here present to witness this sitting of the Assembly. Honorable members, this sitting is summoned pursuant to Section 98(1)(a)(2) of the 1997 Constitution and Order 11(3)(c) of the Standing Orders of the National Assembly, as requested by at least more than 1/4 of the members of the Assembly. Considering the said provisions of the law, as presiding officer, I had no option but to convene a sitting of the Assembly within 7 days of the request so made, thus reaching for our Assembly here today. Honorable members, as per order paper, this Assembly is here today to debate over a motion acute kidney injury, AKI, resulting to the death of at least 70 children in the country. I must state that the incident is quite very unfortunate and concerning to me and indeed to this Honorable Assembly. It is equally disturbing that the AKI revealed an allegation of contaminated drugs in the country, resulting to such disease causing death to children. Honorable members, I want to appreciate and applaud the ongoing work of the Select Committee on Health in performing one of the key functions of this August Assembly, which is oversight since the outbreak of the disease. The committee is already engaging health authorities and relevant actors in the health sector regarding the death and alleged contaminated drugs. I must equally commend government, and in particular the Ministry of Health, for their swift action in raising the alarm both in country and at the international level. That said, honorable members, we must also be reminded that Parliament has its own unique setting and means of handling issues. We therefore expect the Select Committee on Health at the end of this session to do justice in its inquiry and report back to this Assembly for more concrete resolutions and actions. On that note, honorable members, let me once again welcome you all to the sitting of this third extraordinary session of the National Assembly in the 2022 legislative year, and also welcome His Excellency, the Vice President, and all Cabinet Ministers here in present. Honorable members, I do believe a copy of the motion has been circulated to you all. We can now proceed. Clerk, we can now proceed.
Correction and approval of the records of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Thursday, 6th October 2022.
Honorable members, the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Thursday, 6th October 2022 is before us for correction and approval. Can any honorable member please move that the said record of votes and proceedings be considered and approved? Any honorable member? Honorable member for Opanyomi.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, I rise to move that the record of vote and proceedings of the National Assembly sittings of Thursday, 6th of October 2022 be corrected and approved. Thank you.
Honorable members, any seconder? Honorable member for Nyani.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Motion seconded.
It has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Thursday, 6th October 2022 be approved. Honorable members, we can now look at the record of votes and proceedings. As usual, we'll look at it page by page, beginning, of course, with page 1. If honorable members have any observations or comments, omissions. Yes, Honorable Majority Leader.
Thank you. On the present list, I'm captured present. I think I was not around that day. On the present list, I was captured present, and I think I was away. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker. Number 2, Honorable Bileji Tunkara. His name should be deleted. He was not present. It's noted. Any order on page 1?
Yeah?
Deputy Speaker?
1 or page 3?
Okay.
When we get to page 3 then.
Okay. Page 1? Any more? Latikunda Sabiji.
I just have an observation because this has been happening on and on and on. Members will be absent and their names will not be there and members will be present. I don't know whether it's just a copy and paste process because now it's high time. Oh. I just want to establish because this has been happening on and on. Members will not be here but their names will be captured on the present list. I don't know whether it is a copy and paste business in most cases or because this will not be happening on and on and on. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that has been noted even well before you said it. And 2, we must accept that sometimes it's difficult. I have been told that sometimes the recording is by your digital indication of your presence. And if, for instance, somebody just presses yours, it indicates to them that you are present when you are not present. And what we try to do, what I have been discussing with them is to do, let's go back to sometimes our own traditional way of doing things. That is to confirm whether these people are, let's not only rely on what they are, let's also come to confirm whether people are present or not. Some of these things, that's why we're going over them. You cannot avoid some of these errors. But I know the table office, they have noted it down and they will do their best. Any order on page 1? If nothing, we move to page 2. Page 2. Okay, we move to page 3. Is that where you have the, huh? You are fine. Okay. Member for Kian Central, page 3.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the floor. Members who are absent with permissions under the list, G. Tunkara name is not captured and he was absent. Page 3. Page 3.
Page 3, am I right? That's the last sentence of page 2. The following members were absent with permission. And here we have deleted Bile Tunkara from the list of those present. We add him here, isn't it? Yes. Yeah. Any order on page 3? Sorry. We move to page 4.
Page 4.
Yes, Honorable Member for Talinding.
On the following members who voted yes, my name is captured, number 35. I did not. Who voted aye? My name is captured under that at number 35. I abstain.
Page 4, number 35, Honorable Musa Baji of Talinding Kunya. The name should be deleted. He said he has abstained from voting. Okay. For Banjul South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Page 4, number 2. It says that the following members voted aye. Bileji Tunkara, he was not around to even vote, Honorable Speaker. Is that deliberate or what?
Honorable number 2 of page 4, Honorable Bileji Tunkara was not around. And therefore the name should be deleted. We now move to page 5, Honorable Members.
Honorable Speaker, still with page 4.
Who is speaking?
Bakau.
Go.
I have observed that the number of names that they've indicated that voted for aye is far less than 36. And we have 36 as the figure.
No, we have done the corrections.
I'm talking about that. Even with the corrections, you have 34, and it's far less than 34, that the number of names.
Now, yeah, look at the names and then tell us which ones are there, which not be there. That's why we are here.
Verify with the names, but with the figure that was called, it was far less than 36 and 34. This is what I'm putting to you, Honorable Speaker.
What was the figure of the vote?
Yes, Speaker. Yes, in page 5, my name appears as those that voted no.
Just hold on. Before you go to page 5, he's taking us back to page 4. What he is claiming, Honorable Member is claiming, is we have 36 names minus 2, that's 34. And according to him, 34 is on the high side. Am I right? Honorable members, if you look at your names, if you were present, you know it. If you had voted, you know it. Pardon? Yeah? Minority?
Yeah, I think with the correction, that is minus 2, is 34. That is Honorable Tunkara and Honorable Musa Baji. If you delete
Yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So until otherwise indicated, we leave it as it is. All right? Yeah. Honorable member for... Sorry, we now move to page 5 again. Yes. Lower Fuladu.
Thank you, Speaker. My name appears as those that voted in no, and I voted in for yes. Number 11.
Number?
11. Page 5.
Honorable Gibimbalo, Lower Fuladu West, voted yes, and he is indicated here no. His name should be deleted. From that list, but did your name appear on those who voted yes? So it should be added there. Just hold on. Just a minute. Yes, Honorable Member for Lower Fuladu.
Thank you. Just want to remind that my colleague Nyamina Daudejeng voted in yes, and his Honorable Daudejeng voted in yes, and his name appears as abstain. Daudejeng, Nyamina is.
He voted yes. Number 2, Honorable Daudejeng, his name should be deleted and inserted on page 4 for those who voted yes. Daudejeng is where? Nyamina is it? And in his place, in Daudejeng's place, I think Honorable Musa Baji of Talinding should be there. Honorable Baji, you said you abstained, isn't it? So your name should appear under the following members abstain.
Exactly.
Yeah. Honorable Speaker. Yeah, somebody was going to.
Honorable Speaker, I just want to appeal to you. When addressing honorable members, like, sit down, be quiet. Please sit down. Please be quiet. I think this is very good. Going forward.
Honorable member, you know, for you to be best judge, you must reverse situations. Find yourself sitting here
and see your own behavior.
I will say please.
Honorable member, please. When I'm talking, you see.
No, you say when I find myself, I'm going to tell
Honorable member,
please.
you see, when I'm speaking, you don't have to write and talk. Why do I have to please you by telling you that? You should know that more than any other person. That as I'm speaking, give me the juice until I'm ready, and I will give you the advantage, the chance to come and talk. And I always use the word please. But I may be forced to refrain from using the word please, because people don't tend, some members don't tend to appreciate it. And I will withdraw it. Yes, because we have regulations guiding us here that guides everybody. It's not what you want to do. Whilst we appreciate that members have a right to say anything in the chambers without being questioned, members came together to prepare our own standing orders to regulate us here in this session. So we must abide by it. If you don't want to be treated any other way, please treat others the way you want best to be treated. Honorable members, before we have the motion, I want us to have to rise to a minute silence in memory of. I want us to rise to a minute silence in respect to the 60 or so odd kids who lost their lives. Okay, thank you very much. Clerk, can we continue, please?
Motion. Be it resolved that this August Assembly do consider and approve the motion on the acute kidney injury resulting to the death of at least 70 children in the Gambia by Honorable Alaji S. Dabo, the Minority Leader and Member for Birkama North.
Honorable Minority Leader and Member for Birkama North, can you take the floor?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I must begin by thanking the Honorable Speaker for granting this extraordinary session as requested. Motion on the acute kidney injury resulting to the death of at least 70 children in the Gambia. Honorable Speaker, I move that this August Assembly do consider and adopt a motion on the acute kidney injury, AKI, resulting to the death of at least 70 children in the Gambia. Honorable Speaker and the National Assembly, noting with grave concern the news of the death of the children by acute kidney injury, AKI, which has been linked to some contaminated medicines. Expressing deep condolences and sympathy to the families and victims of this tragic event incident. Taking note of the preliminary investigation by the Gambia Police on the death of at least 70 children from acute kidney injury in the Gambia, acknowledging the efforts of the government, in particular the Ministry of Health, since the outbreak, notifying WHO, as well as requested for an investigation into the matter. Recognizing the action of the Ministry of Health in suspending and recalling the alleged contaminated drugs in the Gambia, as well as raising alarm, noting the medicine safety alert and directive issued by the Ministry of Health relating to all contaminated, substandard, and falsified medicinal products sourced from made-in pharmaceuticals in India, concerned that some quantity of alleged contaminated drugs are still unaccounted for or recalled. Appreciating that the Medicines Control Agency has instructed all healthcare workers to stop prescribing, dispensing, and use of all batches of the alleged contaminated drugs. Recognizing the general constitutional powers of this August Assembly to perform oversight over government operations and activities. Recognizing the power of the National Assembly to establish committees with a general mandate to inquire into the activities or administration of ministries or departments of the government, cognizant of the power of the committees to investigate or inquire into any matter of public importance. Honorable Speaker, the Assembly now therefore resolved: A, that the Select Committee on Health, Refugees, Disaster, Humanitarian Relief, in accordance with the time of reference herein, conduct a full-scale parliamentary inquiry into the matter of AKI and related deaths, with a view of unearthing the truth and the circumstances surrounding this unfortunate incident, and to advise the National Assembly accordingly. B, that the Select Committee on Health submit its report and findings on the inquiry on or before 30th November 2022. And C, that the Select Committee this one, and see that the Select Committee on Health be granted leave to meet during the session, that is the ordinary session. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, the terms of reference: the Select Committee inquiry seeks to establish the cause or causes and the impact of AKI on children in the Gambia, and in particular, inquire: A, root causes of the reported death of at least 70 children, and B, the effects of the contaminated medical syrups linked to the death. C, to access primary medical drugs, especially for children, has an emergency health service. F, the effects of prevailing legislation, the Pharmacy Council, Medicine Control Agency on pharmacy, licensing and medical regime of the country. And G, to consider proposal for a review of the legal and regulatory regime governing the pharmacy, medical drugs importation and store, and licensing administrations. H, how the pharmacy licensing scheme is administered. And I, effectiveness of current measures being undertaken by Ministry of Health to address AKI cases and contaminated medical drugs. J, to draw on other international best practices and protocols possible strategies, initiatives, action that the Ministry of Health should consider addressing the administration and impact of medical importation. And K, any other related matter. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minority Leader and Member for Bikama North. Honorable members, any seconder? The Honorable Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Equally, allow me to thank your able office for effective and efficient coordination to usher us this opportunity before us to discuss on the motion on the acute kidney injury resulting to the death of at least 70 children in the Gambia. Honorable Speaker, I rise to render my support. I rise to give my endorsement and blessing to the motion before us, looking at the prayers advance in this motion speaks volume. And looking at the relevant instruments that Parliament have within its institution, that is given responsibility or delegated responsibility to the Select Committee on Health, Disaster and Humanitarian Relief, haven't gotten the expertise, because I remember during the composition of the committee, we scout for people who are of faith in that particular area. I'm noting the steps or the giant step by the chairperson and the member of the committee to initiate or trigger the engagement, which is oversight, since the outbreak. Looking at the press, also, it's acknowledged the efforts of the government, and in particular, the Ministry of Health, since the outbreak, for notifying WHO and requests for an urgent investigation on the matter. Honorable Speaker, this speaks volume, and it speaks the concern that we share, be it legislature, be it the executive, be it judiciary. There is no winner or loser in this game. We have to applaud and tap government on the back for early detection of this acute kidney injury and taking every measure in even suspending the licenses and pharmaceutical products. Looking at number 9, appreciating the Medicine Control Agency, MCA, has instructed all healthcare center workers to stop prescribing, dispensing, and the use of all batches of the alleged contaminated drugs. I think we owe it to them to give them that tap on the back. That is what is expected, to come up with resolute action, to come up with decisive decision to make sure that we try to contain the danger of this issue. So also recognizing the preliminary investigation done by other sister institutions in terms of all geared towards raising concerns and alarm that this thing it's serious, and we owe it to Gambians and the Gambian public to make sure Parliament also be heard, Parliament also take its oversight functions, its oversight mandate to make sure we inquire into this and proper resolution or recommendation at the end of the investigation or the oversight of the Select Committee on Health, Disaster and Humanitarian Relief, to make a thorough investigation, not to preempt the outcome. But Parliament is coming in a different style. Parliament is coming in a more informed way, whereby delegating the lines of responsibility to sector Select Committee under our purview, who are taxed with the constitutional powers, who are also taxed with the standing orders, to make sure they do due diligence to the matter before us. I thank you so much for indulgence, and I also challenge the Health Committee Chair to really work within time frame that as at 30th of October and November is able to lay the report.
And I thank you so much, and I will assure you our cooperation and support. I and the minority leader of the House will be with you, of course by extension the Speaker, to make sure that you carry out this investigation thoroughly. Thank you so much for indulging, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Kantora and Majority Leader. Honorable members, I now put the question. It has been moved and seconded that this Honorable Assembly do consider the motion on the acute kidney injury resulting to the death of at least 70 children in the Gambia. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Honorable members, let me welcome and acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Minister of Health, the Honorable Minister of Interior, and the Honorable Minister of Defense, who are here in chambers with us. Honorable members, the tune for the debate has been set. We have with us a motion advanced by the minority leader and seconded by the majority leader. And is praying for this assembly to assign the Select Committee on Health to do research and work with the various TORs. And that should be laid before us latest, it should be presented to us latest 30th of November this year. So it should be noted, honorable members, that the debate on the report is yet to come. That's why the time limit has been set. The discussion today should be focused on the motion, the prayers of the motion. What you think should be added or deleted or whatever. And come the tabling of the report of the Health Committee, members will now come out to debate on all issues. I will open the floor for honorable members to take the floor. After that, I will also invite the Honorable Minister of Health to make a statement. Then from there, the mover of the motion will wind up the debate on the motion. So, honorable members, the floor is now open. I now call on the Honorable Member for Bakau.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I thank you very much for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, let me first of all use this opportunity to extend my sincere condolences to the bereaved family and to the entire nation, because this is a loss to the entire nation. We have lost loved ones who could be better leaders of tomorrow. Honorable Speaker, the topic before us today is very sensitive. Sensitive in the sense that we have lost lives. We're talking of lives, 70+ lives. When one lost life, it never returns. That makes it more delicate. Honorable members, as I said earlier, the topic before us is a very sensitive topic. So I urge each and every one of us to take the issue maturely. Honorable Speaker, let me use this opportunity to thank the minority leader for tabling this motion before us. Honorable Speaker, we have assigned a committee to look into this issue and report back to us. That being the case, today I don't think we'll have much talk on the topic, since we are yet to receive the report from the committee that we assigned to make investigations. On that note, Honorable Speaker, I would advise the select committee that is being assigned to investigate into this matter to find out how the syrup, the paracetamol syrup, is being imported to the country. Because according to my understanding and according to my information, the paracetamol syrup was mainly manufactured for only the Gambia.
Remember, substantive issues on the debate are yet to come, please.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, since you don't want me to go into details, I'll take this opportunity to thank the Health Committee for starting a good job, and we are all waiting for your final report to come up with solutions. I thank you very much for giving me the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Bakau. Honorable Member for Opanyomi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, let me first of all thank the Honorable Minority Leader for presenting this important motion before this August Assembly. And I first of all want to extend my condolences and sympathy to the affected families and the entire Gambia at large. It's really disheartening and very unfortunate that this acute kidney injury has caused the death of at least 70 children in this country. Very, very unfortunate. Honorable Speaker, I also have to applaud the Minister of Health for their timely detection of this particular acute kidney injury.
Observation?
Honorable Member, I think you have to wait for your time. Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I will applaud the Minister of Health for their timely detection and their timely intervention, and even up to an extent of suspending this particular pharmacy and recalling all the medicines that are deemed contaminated. That's a risk which the ministry took. Just in their preliminary findings, they have to take this giant step in order to save the children of this country. But fortunately for us, the other secondary findings made their suspicion right. We have to thank them for that. Honorable Speaker, I also have to applaud my own committee, that's the Select Committee on Health, for our timely response to this particular problem. Because we took it upon ourselves even before being assigned by this August Assembly to engage the concerned authorities, and the preliminary evidence has been gathered, and we don't want to preempt what we have gathered. Report will be presented as being stipulated by the motion. Honorable Speaker, with these few remarks, I thank you once again for giving me the opportunity to throw a few words on this particular motion. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Opanyomi. I now invite the Honorable Member for Kombo East.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, I must first submit my deepest condolences to your office, to the families of the victims of these 70 children that lost their lives due to this AKI. And we pray to Allah, may the trend stop in here and that they rest in eternal peace. And I extend my condolences to the entire people of the Gambia, and that I urge every member of this country to stay fast, and then we work onto a solution to remedy this situation that we are upon. Yes, it is very right. It is very right that we had this motion before us today, and I commend the minority leader for tabling it out before the National Assembly. I only want to suggest that having considered the following points under number 7, 8, as it reads here, noting the medicine safety alert and directives issued by the Ministry of Health relating to all contaminated, substandard and falsified medical products sourced from Median pharmacists in India. Upon these findings, these are laudable efforts. We should commend the Ministry of Health for taking up this giant step and getting out boldly to be doing that. But also under the concern that under number 8, there is a concern that some quantity of alleged contaminated drugs are still unaccounted for or recalled. This is also a point of concern that we need to work on. I'm also suggesting that let it not only be limited to the Health Committee to work on, let it, the National Assembly select committee to take up this thing should have a joint committee where members of the Defense and Security and members of the Gender Committee to be involved so that serious steps could be taken and then the necessary be made so that we come to a conclusion as on time to take a hold to this. I thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Kombo East. Honorable members, let me acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Minister of Works in the chambers. And I understand the Honorable Minister of Fisheries and Water Resources is also present. You are most welcome. I now call upon the Honorable Member for Nyanija. Honorable Member for Kiang East.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I would like to begin by registering my heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families of over 70 Gambian children who lost their lives to acute kidney disease, AKI. I humbly ask Allah to give the bereaved families the fortitude to bear the loss. And I equally humbly ask Allah to restore unto these families children that would be not only the comfort of these families, but also the comfort of the eyes of all Gambians. Honorable Speaker, this is a very solemn occasion. The entire nation is mourning, and we mourn with the bereaved families of these children. What happened is unfortunate, is regrettable. It shouldn't have happened in the first place. We know since it has happened, it has exposed a major flaw or major flaws in the healthcare delivery system. Of course, we understand that as soon as it was discovered, the Ministry of Health responded quickly, taking measures to try to control the situation. However, it is evident that our health system is rigged with corruption, negligence, lack of political will to improve the healthcare delivery system. That is the basic fact about it. I don't think we can question that. Well, anyway, having said that, Honorable Speaker, when we look at the report, I want to add that instead of just allowing the Health Committee to investigate into this matter, since the National Assembly has its own unique ways of dealing or of finding solutions to problems, I would rather we assign this role to a special select committee like we did before. I think we do that instead of course, we know that already the Health Committee has started working on it, but I think for me, it should have been delegated to a special select committee, and I want to urge the National Assembly or disciplinary to do that. And I want to take you back to, refer you to the terms of references of the committee that is taking up this responsibility, that it has been said that these medicines, the syrups that are said to be responsible for these acute kidneys was manufactured mainly for the Gambia. I want the Health Committee to also investigate into the reason why it is manufactured just for the Gambia and nowhere else in the world. I think we can add that to the terms of reference. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Kiang East. I now invite the Honorable Member for Nyamina West.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I shall also rise to join my colleagues on supporting and blessing this motion on the table. First of all, I would also like to sympathize and my sincere condolence to the affected family. And in this case, we are all affected, as Gambia is one nation, one family. So my sympathy to the dead children. I also want to acknowledge the support, the giant support made by the government through the Ministry of Health. Honorable Speaker, if you may allow me, point 5 of the motion, acknowledging the efforts of the government and in particular the Ministry of Health since the outbreak, notifying WHO as well as requested for an investigation into the matter. This is a giant step from the ministry, and every one of us here could bear witness it was an alarm at the right time, an alarm to the WHO. And also, I have to acknowledge the laudable support or the good job done by the Select Committee on Health in the Parliament here. Since the outbreak, they have been conducting series of meetings and they did not relent. So therefore, I have to reiterate my support for the motion in giving them the chance to come out with a report to this noble assembly so as to come out with their terms of reference, especially reference A, that says you are tasked with to come out with the root cause of the reported death of at least 7 children. I am very much particular about this since 70 children, that is A, the root cause of the reported death of at least 70 children. This is very important. So therefore, we wait for the report from the Select Committee of Health to tell us the root cause of the death of these 7 children, and at that time it will allow us to debate better. At this juncture, I also want to acknowledge and recognize the hard work done by the 2 leaders of the House, that is the majority and the minority, and I thank the minority for tabling this motion. At this juncture, I beg to take my seat, Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Nyamina West. I now invite the Honorable Member for Upper Fuladu West.
Thank you very so much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to have my say as far as this particular issue is concerned. Honorable Speaker, members of Parliament, ministers present, media, dignitaries, security personnel, dignitaries present, ladies and gentlemen, I feel very honored and privileged to stand before this august assembly to express my heartfelt condolences and sympathy to the families and victims of this tragic incident. It has been a trying time and a difficult moment for Ministry of Health and the government by extension and the entire people of the Gambia. The deaths of these 70 children are unfortunate and untimely. We all felt it as a nation. And we pray for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant them Jannat. Mr. Honorable Speaker, we have to thank the Ministry of Health for early detection of this acute kidney injury. Like, I think these are some of the achievements registered by the Ministry of Health since the outbreak happened in this country. And then also the case was reported to WHO for assistance as well as requesting for investigation. This came through Ministry of Health. The Ministry of Health have also suspended and recalled the alleged contaminated substandard and falsified medicinal products sourced from Median Pharmaceutical in India. MCA, Medical Control Agency, have instructed all healthcare workers in the country to stop prescribing, dispensing, and use of all batches of the alleged contaminated drugs.
Honorable Member, observation.
So I think these are all giant steps taken by the Ministry of Health and the MCA. The license of the importers has been suspended. The 2 pharmacy outlets of the importers have been closed. I think these are all achievements as far as the ministry is concerned. And then police have started investigation, which is not concluded. And then also the Indian government was also contacted as far as this issue is concerned. As we speak, there is no scientific confirmation as far as this issue is concerned. Honorable Speaker, noting the medicine safety alert and directive issued by the Ministry of Health relating to all contaminated, substandard and falsified products sourced from Maiden pharmaceutical in India. Well, I think these are achievements registered by the Ministry of Health as far as this issue is concerned. But there is a concern raised on the motion. Number 8, the concern that some quantity of alleged contaminated drugs are still unaccounted for or recalled. I want to inform this August Assembly that over 350 Red Cross volunteers and health personnel have been dispatched to provincial Gambia, that is rural Gambia, to go house to house to see whether still these drugs are in circulation. So I think this is a great achievement by the Ministry of Health. Mr. Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, I would like us to refer the issue at hand to the Health Committee to do their findings and report back to the Parliament. So I thank each and every one of you, the minority leader, for tabling this motion before this important assembly. So I thank you all for your kindness and thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Upper Fuladu West. I now invite the Honorable Member for Sami.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, I also want to seize this opportunity to say big sorry to the families who lost their children. May their soul rest in perfect peace. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the minority leader, Honorable Elijah S. Jabo, and the Honorable Member for Brikama South, and all the Honorable Members who append their signature to see that this thing is possible. Because it's a national issue. This is a national issue, Honorable Speaker. This is what we should recognize. It's not anybody's show. It's a national issue. When it happens, we all have to embrace it. It is a national issue. Honorable Speaker, the issue that we are talking about is about this AKI, acute kidney injury. Honorable Speaker, when we look at the report, we are told that it is caused by a paracetamol syrup. And in the report, it is from where? It is from India. It is stated in the report, it is from India. Honorable Speaker, we don't have much to say. Hence, we say we are going to give it to the Health Committee. But what I'm going to tell the Health Committee is that you have a great task. You have a great task to do. We are saying that 70 children lost their lives. We don't know whether that is fact or not. You must reach to every community. You have a great task, Honorable Speaker. You must reach to every community. Don't just get up here and go and stop at another place and you don't reach to other communities. Anywhere you go, these bottles are there. You must reach to every communities. Because at the end, these victims has to be compensated. They must be compensated. Honorable Speaker, and you must also conduct public hearing as a committee. So therefore, we are relying on you. We are relying on you. Whatever report you bring it for us, that's what we are going to digest. So thank you very much for giving me the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Sami. I now invite the Honorable Member for Fonyi Bintang Karanai.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Speaker. Deep down in my heart, I am crying because it's a very sad moment and a sad issue to discuss on. Nevertheless, we still have to be bold and express sincere condolence to the parents and to the nation at large, because the nation is mourning. In the same vein, the politicians also should mourn. In the same vein that we should feel what the parents are feeling. As I sit in these chambers, looking into the eye of the people that lost their children, is very sympathetic indeed. I definitely know how it feels when you lost your child. Very, very sad. And which child are you talking about? The child that could become the governor, the child that could become the minister, the child that could become the member of the parliament, that makes decisions for the nation. I believe as a nation we can do better. And I believe as a nation commitment should be in our DNAs to work in the best interest of the nation, to safeguard our people, to safeguard those young innocent children that died. And who will be next to die? Because we are still not safe as a nation. We must take the full responsibility as a ministry, especially the Ministry of Health. It's unacceptable, and this is unacceptable. And the investigation must be very independent in all the senses. The government is taking an investigation to the matter, but the National Assembly too cannot rely on the Health Committee alone. My suggestion is for us to set a special committee that will be neutral, that will be independent, that will not allow interference to overdrain it, to look into the matter seriously. Because these are sensitive issues that the nation cannot let go of. And in the process of exercising their duties, they must remember that the nation is crying, the nation is mourning, the women are crying, the family members are crying, the family members are in need of support, and in no way can we support for their lost ones, because some of the children that are gone, we have no mechanism of bringing them back to this world, which is very sad indeed. As most of you will want to restrict us time and again on what to debate, what to say, what to do, and what not to do, I'll always say this freely and independently, that this House must not over-restrict the members of the Parliament on what to say and what not to say. So long it affects the public, it affects us. So long it's public importance for all, and we should dilate on it the way we want to dilate on it, without begging for relationship or support in any way. So from now on, as we move out of this House, let us remember to control whatever enters into this country. Whatever our people are to consume, let's control it. Let people be responsible for their actions. But then, when we said we cannot blame anybody, you can blame somebody. Someone is responsible. So will we continue to consume these drugs that are going to continue to kill us or kill our children? It's unacceptable, and that will not be accepted. And we must do whatever it takes to put a stop into it. And for the special committee that may be set, or the health committee, special advice to you. Remember, the Gambia is for all. Remember that you are here to save us.
Remember that the nation is looking up to you. The nation have invested or will continue to invest in that committee that will be set to investigate on this matter. And remember that the fate of this nation lies in your hands. If you betray us, you betray yourself. And Allah will take you to account for whatever you do. Because that's what Allah said in the Quran. He said, Kullu man alayha fan, everything on the surface of the earth will perish. So remember that you are going to perish, and when you meet your Allah, Allah will question you for certain things. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Fonyi Bintankaranai. Honorable Member, I want to believe that there are some honorable members of the Health Committee who love Gambia no less than you or any other person. To impute certain things into honorable members who have not even taken off or reported to us is preempting their work itself. And two, we are not micromanaging any member. Let's get that very clear. All decisions are taken on the floor of the House. Two, Parliament is not an open-ended stream. What you like is what happens. Not at all. Parliament itself is regulated. Human beings ourselves, we are always under regulation.
Honorable Speaker.
Please. Please.
I want to observe the Honorable Speaker.
You don't observe me, please. Honorable member for, is it Latikunda? Latikunda, I don't know what your problem is. Latikunda, please. Latikunda,
I want the rules.
If you want to earn my respect once and for all.
Yes, because I want
Honorable member, please, if you want to earn my respect, you will have to deserve it. This is my last chance for you. I am getting almost nearly above board. I am telling you, I will not hesitate. No, I'm telling you, I'm giving you all your dues. So please, leave mine alone. Alone. Please. You cannot be there and be here. I cannot be here and be there. Please. So those things we must get clear. Very clear. I now call upon the honorable member for Talinding Kunja.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Thank you very much, honorable colleagues. I would like to acknowledge the presence of honorable ministers here present. Let me join my colleagues in extending my sincere condolence to the bereaved families. They are going through a trying time. I recognize a couple from Talinding who came, who deemed it very important to come and witness. I will extend my sympathy to them and all the bereaved families, and pray that Allah give them the fortitude to bear the loss. This is indeed alarming. It could have been me, it could have been my child, it could have been anybody's child. It happens to be them. For them to restore, to show every Gambian that when calamities happen, when disasters strike, government take action, institutions of government take actions to restore that confidence to the citizenry. You know, every Gambian is shocked, every Gambian is in doubt whether the drugs you are consuming are any longer safe for you. This is the situation we are in now. Not only the syrup, everybody is questioning any other medicine in the pharmacy. And then that is where we are now. So whatever the country takes now, whatever decision we take, whatever we implement, is going to make sanitize our health industry, our import and export or otherwise of drugs. So this is why it is important, as this august body sets up, empowers the health committee with timeline to look into this matter critically. We do our job judiciously and effectively to ensure that the outcome saves the country for prosperity in terms of this, because this crisis have exposed us, has exposed the vulnerability of the citizenry, the challenges, the gaps with regards to importation of good drugs and the quality of drugs we consume. So we hope that these, the investigations, the consultations the committee is going to do is going to help us to achieve that. Somebody said special committee. I would like to particularly object to special committees. I do not see why having health committee, you want to duplicate efforts in certain special committees. What I would recommend is that we include the gender and children committee as well, because they also are affected, to be part of the health committee. If you do this, we do it. The life, like somebody mentioned, that have been lost, they have right to life. They could have been anything in the country. They could have grown up to become anything. And then, now that this has happened, what do we do as a country? And then the inquiry shouldn't be approached with the sense that already somebody is guilty already. We go in it with an open mind, that the partners we are meeting are also interested to safeguard the integrity of this country, to healthcare delivery of this country. We have to be mindful of that. When we approach issues of this, because I do know the people in the healthcare, their wish is not to lose life, it's to save. I do know that. But sometimes gaps in institutions, gaps in our laws, implementations, funding, and everything concerning that weaknesses must be addressed holistically, not just finding scapegoats, not just finding who to blame, but then let's look at the issues holistically and address them for now and for future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the honorable member for Talending Kunja. I would have given you extra minute if you had wanted it. When I listen to you, sometimes I am moved and I am proud to be a member of the constituency you represent. Honorable member for Parliamentary.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, I will acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Ministers here present. First, Honorable Speaker, I'll extend my deep condolences and sympathy to the families and victims of this tragic incident, and to my own self as a mother. Also, thanks to the minority leader for tabling this before this August Assembly. Honorable Speaker, I also thank the Select Committee on Health for their intervention in finding facts to this cause of our own children. Honorable Speaker, noting that the government and health authorities going on investigation about the causes of this unfortunate death and the reports, allegation of the contaminated drugs. Honorable Speaker, I recommend the committee or the Select Committee on Health and Gender, Children and Social Welfare Committee to have a team or to set up a team that will do these investigations and report to disciplinary for an action. Honorable Speaker, it is also a concern that some quantity of alleged contaminated drugs are still unaccounted for or recalled. Yes, there is a team set out already to collect some paracetamol or whatsoever. Syrup has been given out or has been sold out by some pharmacies. I am sure there are still some medications which could be outside, which some parents might not be giving out because they might not know the cause or the effect attached to it. Honorable Speaker, I also recognize the power of the Assembly to establish committees with the general mandate to inquire into the activities and administration of ministries and departments of the government. Honorable Speaker, these children are our own children. These children could be presidents, they could be ministers, they could be ambassadors, they could be governors, they could be anything tomorrow. I think it is important for the Gender Committee, Children and Social Welfare, plus the Health Committee to join. In this Gender Committee that you have mothers. The Health Committee might have a mother, but there are mothers in the Gender Committee. So therefore, I recommend the Gender Committee to join with the Health Committee to make sure that they do the thorough investigation and report to the plenary. I bet to take my seat. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Parliamentary. I now call upon the Honorable Member for Banjul North.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. To be honest, my heart is full, to be honest. But notwithstanding, I will observe the parents present here, the affected families present here, and also want to seize this important opportunity to extend my sincere condolence to all affected families and also the Gambia for the loss of 66 plus children due to AKI. It is very unfortunate, Honorable Speaker, but notwithstanding, I believe the death of over 66 plus Gambian children and many more suffering from AKI, reported allegation of the contaminated syrups reflect a deep and widespread systemic issue confronting this country for a period now. And I believe it is important in that regard that there is need for the National Assembly, which we are actually doing now, to respond to this crisis with all the concern and urgency, which is indeed very important in areas critically and closely, so that as to determine why and how such a national strategy could have happened, which the Select Committee have already started engaging all the relevant stakeholders, which is indeed, I believe, is the right thing to do as a Select Committee.
Honorable Speaker, point of order.
Can we hear the point of order? Who is claiming the point? Opanyomi? Yes. Your mic.
Yes, clause 28, sub clause 1. A member shall not read his or her speech, but he or she may read extract from the books or papers in support of his or her agreement and may refresh his or her memory by reference. The member is reading from a text which he wrote on a paper.
Honorable Member, are you reading?
Honorable Speaker, these are points that I put on a paper.
Member, are you reading?
I am not
reading.
A text
you have written?
I am not reading, Honorable Speaker.
All right.
Maybe he is not very comfortable with my presentation, but notwithstanding.
No, Honorable Member, you know, I have to make a ruling.
Okay, go ahead.
You know, it is in order that you should not read. You should not read from a text, written text. You can quote from these things or make reference to notes. So if you are reading, please stop reading. If you are not reading and you are making notes, you can continue, please.
Honorable Speaker, like I said, I am just going through the points that I've noted on my paper. But if he is not very comfortable, I think...
Honorable Member, can you continue with your debate? Can you continue?
Okay, I believe that was a distraction, but notwithstanding, like I said, in the line of the issues that has been mentioned here as some of the members, I think it is very important for us to have an open parliamentary inquiry to investigate in this matter, which is indeed very important. Because looking at the situation, it is indeed a public health emergency. And in any serious nation, we cannot joke or play with health, understanding that it is very key as far as our nation is concerned. And wherever we see a healthy nation, that is when we can see better development. But notwithstanding also, as the mover of this motion have mentioned, some of the TORs that they are expecting as per the committee that will be responsible for the investigation, I will also want to recommend for the Assembly to consider us by at least putting up a very strategic communication mechanisms in place, so that in terms of whatever we're going to communicate to the public, more particularly with the relevant stakeholders, will be of essence, will be of use to the people. Because if we are to communicate to the people and they don't understand the language that we are speaking, that is already a problem. And like the saying goes, if a problem is not solved, it's still a problem. But when a problem is solved, it's no more a problem. And this is something that we must all consider and try by all means to make sure that it is of national interest. Let us see to it that as far as this current situation is concerned, we are all victims. And the most vulnerable are the children. And these children, we are the parents. So in that regard, I want to seize this opportunity to thank the minority leader for coming up with such a motion to see to it that a committee is being assigned to investigate to the bottom of this crime.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Banjul North. I now invite the Honorable Member for Banjul South.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. First of all, like my honorable colleagues, I would follow and extend my deepest sympathy to the families and to the Gambia at large, as this is a tragedy and calls for national mourning. Honorable Speaker, it is heartbreaking, not only as a mother, but I am a mother of 6 children. And I know that if my child would have been under 5 or under 7, one of them might have been one of the victims. So that is why this is so close to my heart. Honorable Speaker, I will not also be fair if I do not point out to the quick action taken by the Ministry of Justice, and that needs commendation. But I think that is where I will stop the comment, Honorable Speaker, because they were quick to pick on the problem and also to identify the issue and to exclude the medication, recall it from the public. And for that, we say thank you to the Honorable Minister for saving at least some lives, because it would have been more than 70. I'm not saying it's not more than 70 because we are not sure.
Honorable Member, I think you were talking about the Ministry for Health and not Justice.
The Ministry of Health.
Okay.
Yes. Honorable Speaker, this is a concern. It regards health, but it also regards children's welfare. Honorable Speaker, I would urge this August Assembly, when they look at the committee, that we should resolve for the Select Committee on Health to also include the Select Committee on Gender and the Committee in charge of children's welfare as permitted by Clause 107 of our standing orders to sit and work on this matter. In this particular clause, it says that where a matter may be of concern to 2 or more committees, the relevant committees may be dealt with on one of the relevant committees composing of it, or be the relevant committee sitting concurrently. So I would urge this August House to convene the 2 select committees to work on these matters. Some of my honorable members, some of my honorable colleagues have already pointed on that, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we need to know that we have very good laws in this country. So I would not only point the blame to the executive or the ministry or the agency. I would also call this August Assembly to look at the laws that we make. The Act on medicines and related products also has a section that appoints quality control of medicines and related products, Honorable Speaker. And if you permit me, I will say what that says. It says that this is established by this Act. There is established by this Act the National Medicines Quality Control Laboratory that should work independent of the agency. The Act, as I said, also has an agency, and the agency has regulatory mandates that should have been done. If their work was properly done, this problem would not have been a problem in the first instance, because they have regulations that prevent bad products from entering this country. I think, Honorable Speaker, this committee that we are to establish today would have a great task, not only in terms of health issues, but also in terms of welfare issues. And on whose welfare, Honorable Chair, Honorable Speaker? The welfare of our children. We have recorded 70 children. Honorable Chair, what I'm saying, can I have 2 minutes, Honorable Chair?
1 minute.
Honorable Chair, what I'm saying is that the minority side of this parliament must be applauded.
No, put on your mic.
Honorable Speaker, the minority side I would applaud, because the minority side made this sitting possible today. I was disappointed to see the majority leader raising his hand to second a motion that he was reluctant to sign, Honorable Chair. He refused to sign, to convene for a meeting to address this matter that affects our children, but yet he wanted to show the world that he seconded this motion. And Honorable Speaker, I am ashamed, because this is not a call show. This is an interest to the nation. It is not for the public. We were duly elected to represent our people and to show our people that we care, not to act a joke, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Banjul South. I now call upon the Honorable Member for Latrikunda Sabiji.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. And I thank the Honorable Ministers who are also present here. First of all, I will start. I am very grief-stricken to the level that I don't even know how to express it. Added onto that, I am grief-stricken by way of the poisonous drugs that were imported into this country. My second disturbance is to see honorable members praising an institution we intend to investigate. Because for me, if you ask me, the ministry should rather prevent and put in mechanisms. I will not praise this or heap encomium on a ministry that fails to prevent and put in mechanisms to prevent this public health disaster. There could have been mechanisms in place, not early sign detection. Honorable Speaker, this nation mourns, this nation grieves, and this nation is effectively in a public health disaster. And I want the honorable members to be so emotionally attached to the 80-something kids that were killed by way of these poisonous drugs.
Observation, please. Honorable.
The pain of AKI.
Honorable, can I please observe?
I spoke to two mothers who were affected, whose children died by way of AKI. One of them told me rather, my child cries in pain, my child groans in pain, my child dies in pain, and my child was gasping for breath. That was very unfortunate. She said the child was a very intelligent child. I couldn't control my tears. Honorable Speaker, I will only applaud the minister. Minister is a surgeon. Several times you use your surgeon's knife, pierce bodies, cut bodies to make sure people's lives are safe. You did that several times in this country, and you need a special commendation for that. But under this circumstance, Honorable Speaker, somebody must be held responsible. I am not saying the minister is responsible. I have already dilated how responsible the minister was as a medical practitioner, a surgeon for that matter, cure lives and saves a lot of lives. But under this circumstance, it is unfortunate that this happened under your watch. And somebody must take responsible even before this inquiry. And there are heads of institutions in this country, including Honorable Minister himself, head of Pharmacy Council. Let somebody take this bold decision and take responsibility of this AKI disease. Honorable Speaker, the first appearance of AKI was one. The first victim was one. We start as a nation, as a ministry, we start counting from 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 60-something, and we are still counting. And I will also urge
You see, that's where the discretion of the speaker comes in, and that's why, and that's why I will happily deny you. Honorable members, institution, and that's why we decided to regulate ourselves, because nobody outside Parliament can regulate us. Nobody. We can say whatever we want to say, do whatever we want to do. So, but as matured, good citizens of this country, we said, now let's regulate ourselves. This trust is too much, we must also safeguard it. That's why we came out with our own regulations. And that's why when we make debates, we must base debates on substantive issues, a report or something that has been researched and brought to Parliament. Otherwise, he will say 100 people died. Somebody will say, no, it's 10 people. Other one will say, no, we have information that more people have died in UR are about 200. Which one are you going to take? That's why it is important that we get focused. And that I'm happy that you deny the person to look into it, because he will have said, who told you it's 70, it's 80? You will equally ask him, who told you that it's 70? Or who said it's not 200? You know, these are things that we should appreciate as parliamentarians. I now invite the honorable member for Lower Badibu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I will first start my deliberation on sending my heartfelt or deepest condolences to the bereaved families, especially those at home here present, as well as the entire Gambian population. Honorable Speaker, the topic before us is a very delicate issue, since it involves the lives of over 60 innocent Gambian children. Honorable Speaker, I would want the Gender Committee as well as the Health Committee to amalgamate, to join forces together in order to carry out this noble task. Honorable Speaker, like I would say I don't have much to say. I will not preempt my stand on this issue until the time that the Health Committee carried out its mandate on the issue. Then there I'll be in a position to deliberate on this issue. I thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Lower Badibu. And I invite the Honorable Member for Bundunka Kunda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor to participate in this important issue that is before us here. Before I go further, I want to recognize the honorable ministers who are present with us here. And also, on behalf of the people of Bundung, I want also to extend my sincere condolence to the bereaved families. At the same time, to also share the same pain that the families got. But this is a situation that we had. It's rather unfortunate. As a country, what we need at the moment is solution. And that solution can only be done through the Parliament, through the Health Committee. And I feel and hope that the committee that is responsible, they will do their utmost best to give us a very good report. And whatever you are going to do, just do it with sincerity. Because this is not about you or me, but it's about Gambia. And this is about life and death. And I don't think we should joke with that. And also, this will be another step for all government institutions. Today is Health Ministry. For us to be able to open our eyes to make certain decisions that can, at least where we can prevent certain issues like this. So on that note, the Health Committee, the number of members that are there, for me personally, I have confidence in them, and I think they will be able to do it. Because so far so good. Whatever we are doing here, we cannot, base our facts on, we cannot base our debate on facts, because there is no data. Because for me, I don't even want to mention the number. I know it has happened, yes, but the number, I cannot justify it. And when they do the investigation, that will allow us to know the numbers from different regions, and that will really help us. So now is a collective responsibility for all of us, though the committee will do their part, but as representative of our very Gambian people from different constituencies, what are we going to do to also, enhance our support to the fight? At least because I understand that there are so many syrup that are uncovered, and I think we all have to work together, especially with the Red Cross, to engage them at our community level, so that we can go on to at least go to pharmacies to get this thing together, if we really have the mandate from the ministry. So on that note, I just still want to appeal to the General Assembly to allow the Health Committee to do it, because we are all brothers here, and we must have to accept and appreciate each other's effort. So for that being the case, one in the committee, let's allow them to do it. At the end of the day, they are doing it for them, but they are doing it for the Gambian people. And I think we are all here to represent one common interest. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Bundunka Kunda. I now invite the Honorable Member for Janjambure.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Speaker. I also want to join colleagues to pay my condolences to the bereaved families and as well as the parents that are with us in chambers here and those that are not with us. To start with, I just want to reflect on the motion that is before us here today this morning. And I just want to look at on the motion number 4, taking note of the preliminary investigation by the police on the arrest of, on the deaths of at least 70 children from AKI in the Gambia. Honorable Speaker, I think as much as we ought to wait for possible investigations or for the police to wrap up with their investigations, I think there are clear evidence from the preliminary that the death of the 70 children are actually related to the AKI. And I think that's where arrests should start with those that are responsible in the supply of these bad medications. Honorable Speaker, I also want us to look at point 6, which is suspending and recalling the alleged contaminated drugs in the Gambia as well as raising alarm. I think the alleged pharmacy operators need to be closed down as soon as possible because I don't think we can afford to wait for another tragedy. And if closed, I think that should be in the right direction because it's what I'm hearing from some of the members. Also looking at the TOR, Honorable Speaker, I just want to join my fellow honorable members to say it will be important to have a joint select committee or special committee to look into this sensitive matter for the simple reason that as much as it is health related, I think it involves children. And we have a whole select committee that is actually established to look into the welfare of children in this country. So it will be indeed very important to have them to be part of this committee. Also, I have actually had some of my members actually praising in the Ministry of Health. And I think on this particular issue, we just need to do justice to the Gambian people. And in doing justice, I think we kind of rushing to upload the Ministry of Health rather. And looking at how this information was broke out, I think it emerged from WHO before the Ministry of Health. And we would have expected for such information to be relayed by the Ministry of Health. And I think it has in fact went to an extent that the Ministry of Health were challenging the WHO as to the way and manner the information was broke out. Also, Honorable Speaker, on the TOR, I understand, yes, but also on the TOR, I think it will be also important for we to look at those that are renting out their licenses to, let's say, outsiders, in the pretext that they built a partnership. I think sometimes they kind of use words to confuse us in the way and manner they run their businesses. And it will be very much important to ensure that clarity is established on this particular issue, and also to understand that this moment is a moment that the Gambia as a nation is mourning. And seeing honorable members in these chambers without taking that decorum, because I'm seeing honorable members laughing, and we have the parents here with us in these chambers. And also, most importantly, I will add my voice on Honorable Njai's submission that the majority leader coming to second a motion, I don't think it's really fair when he had every chance to come up with a motion.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Member for Janjambure. I think I remind myself of the wise words of the member for Talindi. As we approach investigations, we open up. Let's not be preconceived, so that you get every information for you to make sound judgment. If we are yet to get a report and people are concluding that A and B has happened, I hope, however, it's going to be very subjective if we want to look at the report. We await the arrival of the report of the committee, which I am confident they will do a wonderful job, because they already have started. They were on it. I now invite the honorable member for Combo South.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I also want to join my colleagues to extend heartfelt condolences to the families and also to those who are still in hospital for a speedy recovery. Honorable Speaker, the Gambia is at crossroads. Wonders will never end in this country if people of this country do not want to take responsibility. We need to take responsibility for our deeds, and we need to take responsibility for the roles that we play in our institution. Until that is done, the truth will never come out. There is a lot of denial going on, and I think it is about time, as citizens of this country, we should be frank to each other. Honorable Speaker, I don't want to speak much because we have just come to a stage where our powers have been taken from us. And I am going to confront and I'm going to have dialogue with the chair of the Standing Order Committee to review this standing order. We cannot have our powers and leave it to a subcommittee to decide for us. This is a very important session, third extraordinary session of the 6th legislature. From April to now, this is the third extraordinary session. Things are coming up. So when you go to your ABC meetings, you need to look and gauge the importance of the issues that are going to be discussed. Don't limit us to 2 minutes. That's nothing. What is that going to tell us? This is our Bantaba. This is the place where we have to represent our people. Honorable Speaker, and this we need to move forward and forth to make sure that let's allow the members to say what they are going to say and allow them to speak their minds and to enable them to do their work correctly. So this is an issue that I'm going to take up with the committee, the chair of the committee responsible of the standing order. They are meeting, and I think these are issues that we need to look into. Honorable Speaker, I think it is about time that we look at what we are going to do. And the Constitution is very clear. Section 109 of the Constitution is very clear. The Assembly can set up committees. We set up a committee when we had FPAC here, when we had COVID. So it does not limit, we did not limit it to FPAC. We set up a special committee to look at the issues. That's why the 734 million was released for COVID programs in this country. So we are going to, and I am suggesting that we set up a special committee that will include the health committee, children and women and social welfare, and another important committee that is defense. This has something to do with security, and we need to work out to do that, Honorable Speaker. So I am going to end up here, and then when we come to the nitty-gritties and the report when it is out, I will do my research. I have all my volumes here, and we are going to do it. But the National Health Pharmacy Control Agency, the National MCA, the Ministry and the Pharmacy Council should take responsibility, Honorable Speaker. I beg to move. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Combo South. I now invite the Honorable Deputy Speaker and nominated member, Honorable C.D. Eskenjai.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also want to join members to extend my condolence to the bereaved families, the untimely death of 70 children, as we are told, who died as a result of AKI. I want to pray that Allah the Almighty grant the families the fortitude to bear the loss. Honorable Speaker, I want to commend the National Assembly for this motion and the minority leader for tabling this very important motion. Honorable Speaker, I want to say that from the beginning, the majority leader and member for Kantora was never presented with this motion to sign. Rather, it was a paper for him to sign to call for this extraordinary session. And this very important motion was finalized yesterday by the office of the Speaker, the office of the two leaders, and the office of the clerk. That need to be, and they work tirelessly to get us this factual and important document. Honorable Speaker, this motion seeks to recognize the work and the effort of the Ministry of Health and our health officials, our men and women and boys and girls in all our health facilities in this country, and we must recognize that. It could have been a catastrophe and a disaster for this country and the world at large. Hadn't been this very important and patriotic citizen of this country in the health sector, they raised the alarm, and the Ministry of Health and the authorities at the health facilities decided to conduct immediately clinical and data assessment and tests to find out the unusual AKI in young people. And it's as a result, the Ministry of Health and the government immediately suspended the usage as they suspected as a result of clinical and data results, the use of paracetamol syrup and other drugs. And we are all aware, the people in this country politicized it and they were vilified, they were insulted, they were condemned. But when a preliminary investigation suggesting that the Ministry of Health and health personnel action was indeed right, it could have been honorable for them to come back and apologize and recognize this effort as indicated in the resolution. That's what a responsible and responsive government and responsive health sector will do. As a country,
am I hearing a point of order?
Yes, please.
Member for Banjul South, can we hear the point of order, please? Microphone.
Mr. Speaker, point of order 18. It says any member deviating from the standing order. Mr. Speaker, we come to this assembly to tell the
point
truth
of order
and nothing but the truth. Honorable Speaker, the honorable member has not spoken the truth.
Honorable member for Banjul South, you quoted a section what I said? 18 of the standing orders. Can you help us through it?
Honorable Speaker's point of order, any member deviating from these standing orders may be immediately called to order by the Speaker or any other member. Honorable Speaker, the honorable member just stood up and told this assembly something that is not true. Honorable member, it is a lie that the honorable Speaker, the Deputy Speaker said Honorable Speaker, it is the truth. The majority
Banjul South,
Speaker, a letter
can the honorable member Banjul South, can we withdraw that statement, please?
Honorable Speaker,
Banjul South, withdraw that statement.
I will say it's a truth. If a lie is said, I will say it's a lie.
No,
Speaker,
I mean
withdraw.
Honorable member.
No, I will
honorable
not. I
member.
asked to leave, but I will not withdraw my statement.
Honorable member, you either going to withdraw it or you leave the chambers. Then leave the chamber. Then before any further action, then leave the chambers, please.
I will not.
Honorable member, fine. You don't withdraw, leave the chamber, fine.
It was a blatant lie.
No, please leave the chamber. We want sanity in this institution. And honorable member, please don't abuse your right, please. Please. We want sanity in this institution and respect for each other. We are bound to have divergent opinions. I will say this, somebody will say differently. But we must accept it. You have a right to disagree. But when people put out their opinions, you must respect their opinions. It's a must. You must respect it. You reserve the right to disagree with the person. If I feel that what I'm saying is the right thing, and the honorable minority leader believes it's not right, and I want to believe that what minority is saying is not also right, where are we going? Let's respect each other's opinion, but still reserve the right to disagree with the person, based on points or whatever. We don't want statements like that to happen in Parliament. We are being seen and looked into, representing whole Gambian people as the people's Bantaba. We should be less emotional, more focused to issues that we want to debate. And that we cannot tolerate one person.
Honorable Speaker, point of observation.
Please. Who is shouting?
I say a point of observation.
Who is the person?
Foni Bintang Karana. Foni Bintang Karana.
Foni Bintang. You need to go and address yourself with the rules of Parliament. It's not what you find outside that can be translated and brought into Parliament. It's an organized institution for matured, principled people to service their people. Please.
Can I please observe,
please,
Honorable Speaker?
Please, Honorable Member.
Honorable Speaker. Yeah, I can observe him. The Honorable Speaker.
But who is talking?
He's above observation.
Juma? Is it Busumbala?
Yes.
Busumbala, you did not shout.
Did I?
Yeah, you did not shout or argue over it.
I'm not shouting and arguing over this. I just want to observe. Let us proceed. Honorable Speaker cannot make remarks on members.
I think, Honorable Member, you better come and sit here.
No, I will not sit here, but let's make proceed.
And then let's proceed at the same time. Honorable Member, I said, I think you are legally minded. You were one time an officer in the service and you have done some part of law. We need not remind you about what you should do and say as opposed to what I should do and say. You should know that by now. You should know that by now. We don't expect that from people who are legal luminaries.
Honorable Speaker, I'm just...
Please. No, take your own. Just limit yourself to that seat. And leave mine alone. Please. Honorable nominated member, Honorable Njai, you can continue your deliberations.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm not sure that they have not eaten into my time. Honorable Speaker, bullet number 5, acknowledging the efforts of the government and in particular the Ministry of Health since the outbreak, notifying WHO as well as requested for an investigation into the matter. Honorable Speaker, as I said earlier on, we want to commend the Ministry of Health for this. Even when it came, they notified the World Health Organization to assist. And that is commendable. That is the truth. We know there must have been lapses or ill-equipped, but the personnel at the Ministry of Health, when they noticed it, and the Ministry of Health, as indicated in this also, went further swiftly and suspended the importer's license and also recalled an order for the suspension and recollection of all this medication only on the interest of the welfare of the people of the Republic of the Gambia. Honorable Speaker, noting the effort of this Parliament, since this happened, the Select Committee on Health, Refugee and Disaster has been at work, as enshrined in the 1997 Constitution and our standing orders. They had series of engagement with health officials and others with regards to this. It is only prudent that we commend them, we allow only them to continue the work they are doing as stated in the motion. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker, nominated member, CDS Njai. I now invite the Honorable Member for Foni Jarol.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. And a lot has already been said. And I must also thank the honorable ministers who dedicated their time to be here, because it's a national concern. I must start by first and foremost thanking WHO, where I got my information, first-hand information, because it was on the 6th that WHO issued a medical product alert identified in the Gambia that has been potentially linked to acute kidney injuries, leading to the death of 70 children. Honorable Speaker, my condolences to the family of the 70 children and beyond who died taking the medication of the medical product linked to the acute kidney injury. Honorable Speaker, this is very unfortunate to happen and has caused a public outcry in the Gambia and beyond, demanding a true investigation into the incident. Honorable Speaker, the pandemic has caused chaos in our health centers. That as I speak to you now, most people are even afraid to go to the health centers because of this problem. Honorable Speaker, to restore that confidence within the health system and to build trust and confidence from the service consumers, something needs to be done immediately. It's time for action and not time for talking. It's time for action and not time for praises. We must act now to restore that confidence, because we don't know whether this problem is only limited to the mentioned medication. That's what people are thinking. People are even refusing now to go to the hospital because of this problem. We need to act as soon as possible to address the situation. That's my take. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Foni Jarol. I now invite the Honorable Member for Jara West.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, I would want to take this opportunity to express my deepest condolence to the families and victims of this tragic incident, that is the death of 70 children. Honorable Speaker, I also want to commend the Ministry of Health and the government for notifying, to my knowledge, notifying WHO about this acute kidney injury in the Gambia. Honorable Speaker, to me, the minister needs to be commended, because we have all seen since this incident happened. In fact, before that, it's just an outcry that now we are seeing him going up and down. But he has been doing wonders for this country. So when an unfortunate incident happened, we just don't have to come up and then try to destroy all the good things that have been done by the minister. Yes, if you are with a portfolio, God forbid something dangerous or issues happen, that is disaster or calamity, you have to be mentioned. But let's also not forget, he has been doing good for this country. I don't think there is any genuine Gambian who will wish death for his or her colleague in the Gambia. So I just want to appeal to our members, let us not politicalize issues. If we want to politicalize issues, we can never achieve what we want. We are here representing the people of the Gambia. If you want to come here with a political side, I don't think we are going to achieve our dreams. If something happens, let's just take it as it is an issue of Gambia. We are all Gambians. We are all people representative. Please, honorable members, let's do it that way. Sometimes, Ministers also, stakeholders, they need to be commended when they do good. It's good to criticize, yes, because it makes them double up their efforts, but not also, we only depend on the criticism. Let's also give credit where it is due. Sometimes I don't know why we are here. We are representing the people. Honorable Speaker, for me, I have the belief the select committee will do their job. I know the people who are there, their expertise, they know what is in the health. And then before this motion was brought in, they have been doing their work. I believe they will do it. Let's have the belief, the confidence in them. They are our members. We put them in that committee. On that note, Honorable Speaker, I want to rest my case. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Jara West. I now invite the Honorable Member for Fonyi Bondali.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Speaker. I would like to extend my deepest condolence and sympathy to the family and the victims of this tragic incident, to which I am part of. Fortunately for me, my child is still alive, but still going through the pains and struggling, which I am appealing for help. Honorable Speaker, I'll go to number 8, which reads, concerned that some quantity of alleged contaminated drugs are still unaccounted for or recalled. I would like to urge the Ministry of Health to continue on their good work or to recall the remaining of the said drugs. Honorable Speaker, I would like to rest my case.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Fonyi Bondali. I now invite the Honorable Member for Busumbala constituency.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, the issue at hand is very delicate issue for us to talk about it. It includes the loss of the entire generation. Honorable Speaker, 70 children been succumbed to the deaths due to AKI pandemic is a concern, and every member of the nation is mourning. On behalf of the people of Busumbala constituency and on my own behalf, we extend our deepest condolence to the family who lost their loved ones due to this AKI. Honorable Speaker, we pray to Almighty God to grant these bodies to the highest place in Jannatul Firdaus. Honorable Speaker, no parents want to bury his or her child. We all pray that we have child grown up in a better perspective, see them in their progressing stages to become wonderful and beneficiary to us. It's unfortunate that these parents are witnessing this, and the nation at large is crying, is mourning for the loss of these children. Honorable Speaker, the death of these children has been reported by the Minister of Health can be attributed to a negligence by the government and his ministry. The only crime, Honorable Minister, these children have committed is to be born in a country whose medical security is not being at its best. Honorable Speaker, it is the primary responsibility of the government to provide primary health care delivery service to every member of this country. Every resident, every citizen who is born in this country is this entitlement of the government to provide a primary health service delivery to its excellent base. Honorable Speaker, we may restrict ourselves based on the recommendation we have, or the recommendation we refer to the committee responsible to investigate this matter. But notwithstanding, we can also tell them to look at this and take a robust action, when investigating, to make sure that they look at it holistically, and factor out all the necessary steps that will give justice to these people who have succumbed today, these babies. One of those is to look at how the medication find its ways into the hinterland of the Gambia. And the other one is to look at various medicines that have been tested, whether they are the primary cause of these deaths. And also looking at our environmental situation, the flood also have just hit the Gambia, whether we have experts to ascertain whether the death can also be. Can I have, are you the speaker? Honorable Speaker, can I have
I am happy that you know that the speaker is there. He is not the speaker. I give you 30 seconds to round up.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I know you are the father, you are the general, and you are the president of this assembly. But it's okay. I just want to rest my case here, but then it is needful to emphasize the failure of the Minister of Health in this respect. And I want the chair of the Health Committee to take note of that and make sure that you conduct your investigation in a more professional manner. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Busumbala. I now invite Honorable Nominated Member Keba Lamfofana.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. To start with, I would skip the normal greetings and then go straight to expressing my heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families, and then equally share my sympathy for the unfortunate death of over 70 children. Honorable Speaker, the issue at hand, as alluded by earlier speakers, is very delicate, is highly sensitive, and it requires maturity. And that maturity should begin from this House. Let's establish the facts. Are linked to some contaminated syrup, which is explicitly expressed in the prayers of the motion, number 1. And that makes it more worrying, because practically people take medicine to be healed. You don't take it to have something of what? An unfavorable nature. But equally, to recognize, as expressed in prayer number 5 of the motion before us, that is the early detection, which was done by the Ministry of Health, which we can attribute a timeline to. This was since in July. and subsequently the recall mechanisms in place and the information given to WHO, fast-tracking that toward the declaration that was given by WHO that the deaths can be linked to AKI and subsequently to a syrup. Honorable Speaker, we have a motion before us. And in supporting this motion, I really want to bring to the attention of the members some of the salient issues the Health Committee will bring, provided we allow them to do it independently and we allow them to do it solely. If you look at the TOR that this motion is expressing, from A to K, what it seeks to establish is the fact. The main reason why honorable members cannot debate today is we don't have facts. We don't have any evidence. If at all we are going to make anything today, any deliberation today, it will be based on what? Assumptions. And this is an honorable house. And honorable Speaker, if you look at point F and H, it talks about, it mandates the Health Committee to come up with the policy and legislative gaps that exist both in the legislation and also in the MCA Act. Currently, it is evident that the MCA Act is what? Conflicted. But to what extent, we do not know. So if at all we allow the Health Committee to go on with this parliamentary inquiry, we will know the extent of the legislative gap. We would know as a parliament what we need to do to address those gaps. And again, if you look at point D and point H, it is talking about holding people accountable. This is evident because this is an assault on the Gambian people. But what can we do right now? We can't do much. We need the facts so that the people who are responsible will be held responsible as to what their degree of responsibility. And lastly also, if you look at point K, it is talking about structural and administrative reform based on what? International standards. So, Honorable Speaker, having said that, I wish to express my fervent belief that it is only the Health Committee who have the constitutional mandate as per section 95 of our standing orders of the Gambian Constitution to what? Take this particular mandate. In conclusion, I would just like to appeal to this House. Let us not preempt the conclusion of our own what? Committees. Let us not preempt it. Let us join the country in expressing our deepest what? Concerns. 17 lives are lost. That is not a joke. We should approach this issue with utmost maturity. Who knows? Today is the children, tomorrow it can be the adults. So if we approach it with a laissez-faire attitude, we politicize it, at the end of the day we would not have the desired results. So I think, Honorable Speaker, we are in order, and I want to make the submission that I am in for the Health Committee.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Nominated Member Kebalang. Is asking? Honorable Member, I have not heard you. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Nominated Member Kebalang Fofana. I now invite the Honorable Member for Basse.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. First of all, I have to acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Minister for Health and other cabinet ministers present here. Honorable Speaker, I rise to add my blessings to the motion, which I have to applaud the minority leader for coming up with this motion, and which is very timely. Honorable Speaker, I also have to express my deep condolence and sympathy to the families and the victims of this tragic incident. Honorable Speaker, I have to thank the government, the Ministry of Health, and the members of the ministry for their swift intervention when this strategy was alarming, or else it would have been something. looking at some of the points highlighted by the mover of the motion, I quote, number 3, noting government and health authorities engaging investigation about the causes of these unfortunate deaths and these reported allegations of the contaminated drugs. Also looking at number 6, recognizing the action of the Ministry of Health in suspending and recalling the alleged contaminated drugs in the Gambia, as well as raising alarm. I think these actions have shown the government and the ministry they are responsible in what they are doing as they are serving the Gambian people. Honorable Speaker, as one of the speakers mentioned here, that this motion was brought here or was due to the minority leader, which we said no, because they said it's the minority are the one who's append their signatures for this motion to be tabled here. We were consulted, and we know in the Constitution, Section 998, 1A, that even if they have 1/4 of the signatures, it can be tabled at the plenary here. So that doesn't mean they have to at least accuse or say other members did not, we are not in for the motion.
Of the National Assembly to pay my heartfelt condolence to the bereaved families. Honorable Speaker, we have a motion before us which has been tabled by the Honorable Minority Leader, which is commendable. Honorable Speaker, the issue at hand is very sensitive. I respect every other's opinion in the humble assembly. But something that we should note is that some families are still crying. The loss of a child can never be replaced, and you carry him or her for the rest of your heart, your life. We shouldn't be here to gain political points, but we should feel what these families are feeling at the moment. Honorable Speaker, looking at the motion, it states, noting government and health authorities, under number 3, ongoing investigations about the causes of this unfortunate death and the reported allegations of the contaminated drugs. We are saying that we want the Committee on Health to conduct an investigation onto this matter. I am not an expert on health, and I don't want to accuse any government, I don't want to accuse any company. Although we Gambians, Gambian health workers, Gambian children, Gambian people, Gambian government has been assaulted by unscrupulous companies, by unscrupulous individuals. We shouldn't conclude onto matters without having thorough investigation being conducted by our health committee. We have set up this committee. Let's be honest to each other here. We don't have to be imposters. We entrusted them the powers to scrutinize the activities of the Ministry of Health and any health-related matter. If we have trust on this committee, let us move this issue to the health committee and wait for their report before we accuse each other here in this assembly. We are honorable members, and we should behave as honorable members. anything we are saying under this building should be based on facts. Remember, credit should be given to those that deserve it. I will not give credit to WHO without giving it to the Ministry of Health. It is clearly stated under this motion that acknowledging the efforts of the government, and in particular the Ministry of Health, since the outbreak, notifying WHO. It means it is the ministry that notified WHO of this issue, and not WHO notifying our humble ministry. We have to start encouraging our people. When they do the right thing, we have to put it straight and say they are doing the right thing. This is one way of motivating our civil servants. What are you telling our nurses and doctors? If we are to stand here,
very sad, and then it's a concern to every Gambian that this is happening. It is unfortunate, though history and records have told us this is not the first time it is happening in other parts of the world, but in the case of the Gambia, this is the first time. So we have to capitalize on this and make the best use of this unfortunate circumstance and come out with something that is very positive at the end of the day. Honorable Speaker, I just want to emphasize on one thing. That is the issue of the time limit. This, if I don't talk about, my heart will melt because I'm the one who moved the motion. For God and heaven's sake, we are guided by our standing orders, and we have committees responsible. If a particular committee agree on something, and you come here, it's not a matter of being bipartisan or whatever. Every party has a representative at the ABC. We are represented there by our party line. So if we agree on something and we move it here, I think it's something that we should not dwell and talk about anymore. Moving on, Honorable Speaker, on the issue of convening this session, and then I request the Office of the Clerk to provide copies where all the signatories are and deposit it in our picking holes. Because as far as I know, I append my signature on this because I see it as a matter of public health importance. Coming from a party in government, I did not see this as something which you know that it is a challenge on the government or whatever. I see it as a matter of public health importance. And then also as chair of the committee, I see it as something which, you know, it's my responsibility. If such a motive is moved, I support it. And I append my signature on that circular. So you cannot call it as it is engineered by the minority side or whatever. Please, that is a misleading and wrong statement. Honorable Speaker, moving on to the Health Committee, and this I must emphasize. To whom much is given, much is expected. As chair of the Health Committee, we've already started, as other members have alluded to. And then I just want to thank the Honorable Minority Leader and all other Honorable members who are in support of this motion, and also all Honorable members to join everyone here for us to support this motion. Because as a Health Committee, it is a tool of the National Assembly, especially the plenary, for us to dip into this matter and come out with something positive, come out with something as evidence as we can lay our hands on and then present our case to the general public. Because I know many have been talking, what have the National Assembly done in this regard and so on. We have been doing a lot, but as far as the matter is here, I take it as an opportunity for us to widen our scope, and then this is just a matter of like enriching our already started work to come and report back to plenary. And then I assure you, we have a very committed and competent team within the Health Committee. You have health experts there, and you also have experts in various areas. And also, don't forget, we have right honorable members there who are serving their second term. So be assured, we will do everything judiciously and according to the standing orders and according to the Constitution. That one I can assure you, and then we count on the support of everyone. Honorable Speaker, I cannot take my seat without also expressing my thanks and appreciation to the Ministry of Health. You see, if somebody does good, just say thank you. I know it's not easy. There are gaps here and there, and that's why we are moving forward, coming up with this to investigate these things. But they have done a lot. If they could tell you, and I know the Honorable Minister will come, when they started this, definitely we will have to thank them. They have done a lot, and then they have even been criticized at one point when they started releasing press release, stop the usage of paracetamol and other syrups. So we have to thank them, and we have to
can I observe you, please?
No, just allow me to finish, please. Just allow me to finish. So we have to thank them and appreciate their efforts. Honorable Speaker, I wouldn't also do justice without
Yeah, you.
Okay, thank you very much. I just wanted to finish by saying all the details that the honorable members are asking for, most of them are already in hand because, as I said, we started and we requested documents from the various ministries and departments. And equally, the details about the outbreak and then like the epidemiology of cases and so on. We have a very competent unit under the Ministry of Health, that is the Epidemiology and Disease Control Unit, that also need to be empowered, but I know they will provide all the relevant information in this regard, and at the end of the day, we will all be happy when we lay our report here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Nyanija and Chairman of the Health Committee. Honorable members, I now have the pleasure to invite the Honorable Minister of Health to make a statement and partake in the debate. Honorable members, as I said, we will now invite the Honorable Minister of Health to make a statement. He is not responding to your issues. He just to make a statement if he so desires as Health Minister. And from there, we will call upon the mover of the motion to respond and then wind up the debate on the motion. Is here. I understand the Honorable Minister is in. I now have the privilege to call on the Honorable Minister to make his statement. Honorable Minister, please.
Distinguished Honorable Speaker and National Assembly members, thank you for inviting my team and I to this extraordinary session of the National Assembly on the death of children due to acute kidney injury. I acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Ministers, my colleagues, and the bereaved families who are here with us to be part of this process, and other distinguished individuals who are gathered here. We would like to extend our sincere condolences to all the families affected, all the families who have lost their loved ones, and we pray that Allah grants all the departed children Al-Jannatul Firdaus. This period has been very difficult for the families of the children, and we pray that Allah grants them the fortitude to bear the loss. It has been a very difficult period for all the people, the families. We were in the hospitals with them. We saw their struggles. We saw their pain. Each time I visited the patients at the hospital, we saw the anxiety, the fear, the pain on the faces of the families. We understand what you went through. But only Allah can comfort you, and we pray that Allah comforts all of you. But we want to tell you that we share your pain. We have been in it together from the beginning. As a colleague, as an honorable member said here, our work is to save lives with the help of the Almighty Allah, and we've been doing that to the best of our ability. When we lose lives as health workers, we quietly cry. Sometimes we hide behind and we cry as much as the families. And in this case, we all cried quietly with you each time you lost a family member. At this juncture, Honorable Speaker, we also wish to commiserate with the health workers who were taking care of these patients and did all they could do to save their lives, but ended up losing them. This year, the Gambia experienced the highest amount of rainfall in over 15 years. There had been windstorms, floods, and floods in many parts of the country. There are numerous diseases that become common during the rainy season, either because the vectors carrying such diseases or disease-causing microorganisms thrive and reproduce well in stagnant rainwater, or such water serve as conduits for the transmission of waterborne diseases. These diseases could be viral, bacterial, or parasitic. For this reason, each year during the rainy season, diseases such as cholera, salmonellosis, or other bacterial diarrheal diseases and viral diarrheal diseases, also malaria, skin diseases, etc., are all commoner during the rainy season. This year is no exception. Floods are known to worsen this problem, and that is one of the most important causes of mortalities when it comes to floods. The fact that there could be physical injury to the flood victims coupled with the high potential of disease outbreaks. That is why governments and health systems are concerned when floods arise. In July 2022, the Minister of Health received information from the doctors at the Pediatric Department of the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital, that is EFSTH, that they were seeing an increased number of children under 5 years who were presenting with symptoms of acute kidney injury. This information was conveyed to the Epidemiology and Disease Control Unit of the Ministry of Health, whose mandate it is to conduct surveillance and control diseases of public health concern. An incident management system was set up to look into the AKI issue. Acute kidney injury, or AKI, is the sudden deterioration of the functions of the kidneys, which manifests with the symptom of oliguria, that is diminished urination, or anuria, production of no urine at all, among others. The injury to the kidneys may affect other homeostatic functions of the kidneys. This may coexist with or lead to other organ damage. Acute kidney injury can be classified as community-acquired acute kidney injury or hospital-acquired acute kidney injury. Every country has a baseline level of acute kidney injury. These figures vary from one geographical location to the other, from country to country, and from one health facility to the other within the same country. Acute kidney injury in children has numerous causes. These causes can be broadly classified into three: pre-renal, renal, and post-renal. Renal referring to kidneys. The pre-renal causes of acute kidney injury in children, especially in the tropics, include acute gastroenteritis, which is usually associated with severe vomiting and diarrhea, complicated malaria, sickle cell disease and its complications, severe dehydration of whatever cause, and sepsis, that's infection, severe infections in children. The renal causes, those are causes that are inherent in the kidney itself. Acute tubular necrosis, acute hemolytic uremic syndrome, glomerulonephritis, the various forms, factors causing and congenital malformations, etc. From the outset, it was clear that the possible causes of acute kidney injury in these children were many. Most of these children had a history of diarrhea and vomiting, fever, and some of them had cough. These children were referred from all 6 health regions of the country. These were the regions where the floods had been reported. The only region where there was no referred case was the North Bank East Health Region of the country, where it was also reported that there was minimal or no flooding at all. This made the clinicians to arrive at the suspicion that they were dealing with an outbreak of acute kidney injury that might have arisen because of contamination of sources of water and food in the communities. We had seen communities where water levels were so high that they submerged the pit latrines and the wells, thereby giving rise to contamination of the sources of drinking water. The possibility of diarrhea and vomiting causing acute kidney injury was entertained. Health workers were dispatched into the communities to take water samples for analysis. It is important to note that some of these samples, when tested, yielded a type of bacterium called Escherichia coli, or E. coli for short, which is one of the commonest causes of diarrhea and vomiting in children. Severe diarrhea and vomiting by themselves can cause acute kidney injury. Some strains of E. coli can cause hemolytic uremic syndrome, which can also lead to acute kidney injury. Further analysis by sequencing of the bacterial isolates indicated the presence of Escherichia fergusoni. This bacterium also has the potential to cause hemolytic uremic syndrome, which can also cause acute kidney injury. As all this was happening, the clinicians were seeing more children with acute kidney injury. In our newly established postgraduate training program at the EFSTH, with the support of the World Bank, we have employed 16 senior doctors from the West African sub-region, including a professor of pediatric nephrology. This is a professor of kidney disease in children. We also now have a Gambian nephrologist, that's a kidney disease specialist, at the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital. The experience of this professor in Nigeria and the information given in other countries like Bangladesh, Panama, Pakistan, and Haiti, and others, increase the clinical judgment of the team of clinicians that the potential of contaminated medicines causing the acute injury should also be explored. This is coupled with the observation that many of these children were also given various medications for their currently existing illnesses. And many of them, these medications were also similar. These children continued their treatment. They continued to receive treatment, which included peritoneal dialysis and other medical management of their ailment. The mortality rate was, however, high. This finding was reported to the World Health Organization country office, and we also requested for support to deal with the investigations. With the help of the World Health Organization, blood and stool samples were sent to World Health Organization, that's WHO, accredited laboratories in Senegal to help in the identification of any pathogens or contaminants in the stool, blood, and medication samples that were sent together. The process was tedious, but however accompanied by rigorous follow-up. The results yielded the proof of E. coli in the stool samples, in stool samples. Two of the samples sent yielded E. coli serotype 0157, which is a cigatoxin producing E. coli. Cigatoxin is known to cause hemolytic uremic syndrome, which can by itself also cause acute kidney injury. As the clinical correlation between children taking the medications and the worsening of their symptoms and the development of AKI became more suggestive, the Incident Management Committee advised for the suspension of the use of paracetamol syrup in the country. This was the main suspected drug because of the historical knowledge of the clinicians giving care to these patients, and the fact that about 80% of the affected children at the time had consumed paracetamol syrup. This was shortly followed by the suspension of promethazine syrup as well. This move was even criticized by many people, saying that we did not have enough evidence to do so. It, however, proved to be a good decision, as we can all tell by now. Some further drug samples were sent to Ghana for analysis. The preliminary results from Ghana indicated that out of the 9 samples sent, 1 paracetamol and 1 promethazine syrup were found to have contaminants. The paracetamol had diethylene glycol, and the promethazine had both ethylene glycol and diethylene glycol. All the samples were found to have also unknown compounds, an unknown compound. The quantification of the results showed high levels, but the paracetamol could not be further tested because the sample was said to be insufficient. However, confirmatory results could not be obtained from there. This was followed by the instruction from the Medicines Control Agency to quarantine all these products in the pharmacies and warehouses. Further analysis of the samples in Switzerland indicated that 4 of the medications had high levels of ethylene glycol and diethylene glycol. These were Markov baby cough syrup, Magrib N cold syrup, Cofexmalin baby cough syrup, and promethazine oral solution. These were industrial chemicals that are actually toxic to the human being. They are also used in car antifreeze systems and brake fluids. The presence of these compounds in the medications is a gross violation of good manufacturing practice, as GMP. These syrups were manufactured by Maiden Pharmaceuticals in India and were imported to the Gambia by Atlantic Pharmaceutical Company. A massive withdrawal exercise of these drugs was commenced, including household recall of all syrups. A total of 50,000 bottles of the contaminated syrups were imported into the country, and out of that, 42,173 have been collected through the recall exercise so far. Distinguished Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, our government has been working very hard over the years to reduce morbidity and mortality in the Gambia. In this vein, government has embarked upon health facility expansion, provision of more laboratories and other equipment, and massive capacity building exercises. This is yielding results, with very significant reduction in maternal mortality from 433 per 100,000 births in 2013 to 289 per 100,000 live births in 2019-2022, to a further reduction to 178 per 100,000 live births this year. A reduction of under 5 mortality from 54 per 1,000 to 49 per 1,000 in 2020. It therefore came as a big blow to have lost 70 children under the age of 7 to acute kidney injury. In 4 months, we lost this number of our children because we've been interacting. During this period, peritoneal dialysis capacity was enhanced and required materials were procured. Emergency medications and equipment, including 2 hemodialysis machines for children, were also procured by government and the WHO. These have been very helpful. Throughout the period, many technical incident management meetings were held to map out the way forward. On our request, the WHO and the Center for Disease Control, United States of America, sent in technical experts at various points to support and advise. This included the WHO Africa Regional Emergency Director, the Director for Drugs and Medical Supplies at the Regional Office for Africa, the Regional Incident Management Director, causality experts, data management experts, and many more. The CDC USA sent in 4 experts, including 1 infectious disease specialist, 2 epidemiologists, and 1 anthropologist. Some of these experts are still around working with our local experts, our own experts here. They have been working diligently both in the health facilities and in the communities, collecting the relevant information and data to help in bringing this outbreak to an end, and to help determine the cause of the outbreak and also the causes of mortality. From the foregoing, it is very clear that this is not a simple process. All the possibilities or all the probabilities have to be scientifically looked into before one can conclude what the cause of death is. That actually means that this has to be established in a scientific way without doubt of the causality or causalities of death in these children. It should not be forgotten that the contaminated drugs are the most suspected, but other possibilities or other possible causes like severe diarrhea and vomiting, bacterial infections, complicated malaria are all possible causes. Distinguished Honorable Speaker, National Assembly members, the issue of counterfeit or substandard medicines is a massive global problem. It is a multi-billion-dollar entity in which some selfish individuals thrive on the suffering of other people. We got information that the Food and Drug Administration of the United States of America from 2000 up to now have withdrawn over 1,200 dangerous medications from the American market. It is a big challenge for the entire world, especially for the poor developing countries like ours, where all drugs have to be imported, and we have both limited human and material resources to detect the problem. Cases of counterfeiters doing their manufacturing in boats offshore, where no one can even identify the origin of the drugs, have been reported in some countries in other parts of the world. Upon announcing the issue of the acute kidney injury that is in the Gambia, the alert of countries around the world was increased, and this has led to the discovery of a similar phenomenon in Indonesia, where 208 cases of AKI were so far detected with a mortality of 133. Distinguished Honorable Speaker and National Assembly members, Indonesia is considered to be a middle-income country with many facilities and personnel for detecting acute kidney injury and substandard medications in their population. The fact that they had to take a cue from us here in the Gambia and even consult our team to share our experience with them, for them to deal with this problem means the team in the Gambia has really put in our best. A similar incident occurred in Haiti, where 109 children passed away. This is by no means trying to justify what happened in the country, in our country. It is just to dilate on the challenges developing countries face. It is important to note the identification of the problem and the actions our government took to stop the problems or to stop the problem are remarkable by international standards. This has potentially saved a lot of other lives. We have not seen any new case for 2 weeks in a row as I speak to you. Detecting outbreaks of this nature that have multiple possible causes is very challenging, especially for developing countries. During this outbreak, the World Bank has agreed to construct a drug and food testing laboratory for us in the country, as there is also no food testing laboratory in this country. Preliminary work has already started to this effect. Distinguished Honorable Speaker, National Assembly members, I believe that our country has been assaulted. This is an aggression against our people from greedy, unscrupulous people. The manufacturing, distribution, and importation of contaminated drugs is criminal, and government sees it that way. However, due diligence needs to be carried out to get to the root of the problem. The license of the importer has been suspended. The 2 pharmacy outlets of the importer have been closed, and the police have started the investigations in earnest. The Indian authorities have also been contacted, and we've been told that on their own, they had taken steps against the manufacturer, and this included closing their factory. And it is also stated that they found series of serious breaches in the factory. Government is on the verge of setting up a commission of inquiry into the issue. This, we believe, will help in identifying the problems and come up with recommendations to deal with the current problem and avert any future recurrences. We appeal to all, to everyone in this country, to support the government. This is a national problem. The government needs support. We need the cooperation of the citizenry. We need to collectively work on it as a nation, not as different groups. This will help government, the health experts and the partner experts working together to also establish the causality or causalities of death, to assist the police in their investigations and the Commission of Inquiry in their deliberations. With this, inshallah, we'll get to the root of this, and I thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Health, for a very informative brief to honorable members. Honorable members, I now call upon the mover of the motion to respond to the issues and wind up the debate. Honorable Member for Brikama North and Minority Leader.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as earlier on expressed when I was laying the motion, I thank your office once more for accepting the request made by honorable members for this extraordinary session to be convened. By doing so, I owe it to myself and honorable members and the nation at large, inasmuch as the Honorable Speaker accepted this and made this day very possible. Equally, the honorable members who append their signatures to request for this extraordinary sitting need to be commended and their efforts need to be recognized. Honorable members, Honorable Speaker, when this incident happened, it became a talking point nationally and internationally. And as we, the honorable members, indeed at our National Assembly forum, we were also discussing the issue as point of concern. The general public should know the members at the very beginning were very much concerned. How and when we should be acting is a matter that we should discuss among ourselves. Suggestions came, we should have all-party caucus, we should have the health committee to investigate, and then we should have extraordinary to give the weight of the commitment that we desired. Yes, we are taking out of time to have a meeting to take a position collectively. Some honorable members saw the need to go for the third option, extraordinary. A letter was drafted and sent for members to sign. As one of the leaders, I saw the need that may not be proper to leave members to go on their own without one leader leading them. I understand the situation of the majority, and I told him, I will kindly excuse you, and I will take the leader. I took the draft, fine-tune it in a parliamentary manner and the language that suits the parliament, and made a release for members who were making their positive comments in support of the move. That is to say, this move did not come from one side. It is the National Assembly of the Gambia. That is to say, it is not a move that is trying to politicize the unfortunate situation. As embedded in the letter, Honorable Speaker, if you will allow me to read. This request with a view to identify the weaknesses in the public health sector, but most particularly lapses in the importation, registration, and sale of drugs in the country, to take measures that will address the problem with immediate effect. That this request is done out of sincere national interest without any partisan feeling. And it is our hope that all members of the National Assembly will use this occasion to genuinely and seriously participate in the debate so that this very serious health issue can be addressed. We urge the Honorable Speaker to exercise the power vested in him by the Consular and the standing orders to convey this session. Honorable members, it is in this spirit that this session has been convened. Inasmuch as I thank the people who put their signatures to this, I equally thank all those who in one way or the other did not have the opportunity, because there were some who were on other missions, parliamentary missions. They were very far, that's why they could not sign. And equally, those who see it differently. Parliament, we may have different lenses when matters come, and we cannot blame people for having different lenses. I must conclude on this to thank the following. My humble self, Honorable Alhaji S. Dabo, Honorable Keba K. Baro, Honorable Lamin J. Sane, Honorable Yaya Sanyang, Honorable Suleiman Sao, Honorable Umar Jame, Honorable Alsen Sise, Honorable Lamin Sise, Honorable Bakar K. Baji, Honorable Mohamed Kante, Honorable Ami Koli, Honorable Muhammad Lamin Biba, Honorable Hassan Toure, Honorable Almame Jiba, Honorable Abduso, Honorable Mahdi M.K. Sise, Honorable Soibu Toure, Honorable Fatou Baranjai, Honorable Fatou Cham, Honorable Ahmad Kamara, Honorable Samba Jallo, Honorable Jibimbalo, and Honorable Alhaji Mbo. Expressing condolences. All the members, they are joining the general public. We have the Health Committee and the Legenda Committee, joint committee to do the work. And some members also suggested we have special select committee that will comprise health, gender, and defense to do the work. And this other third suggestion is not precisely a committee per se, but it's talking about strategic communication mechanism. I think that one would be recommended when you are doing your work. The communication unit should ensure there is strategic communication mechanism put in place for this committee to do the work. So far, besides opinions and views The way we see it differently, these were the key points as far as the resolution is concerned. The way we put it and the way some other members want it to be, this is what makes the difference, Honorable Speaker. So if we can see how best to harmonize and then finally adopt the motion. Honorable Speaker, on that note, I thank you. I beg to rest my case.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Brikama North and Minority Leader. Let me thank all honorable members who have contributed, and of course those who intended to contribute, but others have addressed their concerns. Before I put the vote, I think it is important that some of the key issues raised by the minority leader be looked into. I never wanted to make this statement before we put a vote, because at all times I don't want to preempt or prejudice people's opinions as what should be done. But I want to acknowledge and appreciate both sides of Parliament, the majority and the minority leaders. Since this thing started, until it came to my notice, it had been a very, very, very difficult period for me. Because I am aware that Parliament can be convened in three forms. One is by Parliament itself. The other is a request from the President. And the third one is a request made by at least a quarter of the membership of parliamentarians. I am equally aware that parliamentary debate must be anchored on some stuff, on a theme, on a research. So where the Speaker is asked to convene a session of Parliament on an issue as important as this, where do we take off? Became a big problem. And in this circumstance, I must thank the clerk and his staff for their very excellent technical backup. And throughout the period, throughout these days, I have had fruitful and constant consultations with both the majority and the minority leaders. We've agreed on almost all issues before we finally came to the plenary. That spirit, I think, should continue. Because we are all in the same game, the same boat. And that boat is the Gambian ship. When it sinks, may God forbid, all of us are down. So this particular issue is a concern for all Gambians, irrespective of your political affiliation. And I've heard it from members, from honorable ministers, and your own contributions, that let's open up. Let's make sure we do justice to the whole thing in the interest of the Gambian people. I've seen that mark. I think we will do justice. This will be a stamp in our favor, I believe. I honestly believe. Honorable Minority Leader, the other issue is the various suggestions opened by members, joint committees, special select committees, etc., etc. We have had discussions on this, and even at the ABC, we had discussions on this particular issue. We have had technical and professional advice from our technicians, and it is thought best that the Select Committee on Health and related matters takes charge of this issue. We have had instances where we were reminded of the COVID-19 issue, where I think a special select committee was put up. That is different from this particular one, in different circumstances. You know, special select committees or joint committees come up as a result of multi-stakeholders in the whole business. Any committee you see in Parliament, it has, even education committee says they should be part of it. So you can relate it. And we our own position to create and nominate members into a select committee like health. I think it is only best and fair that this specific issue of this AKI drugs issue, as they have started, let them continue on their own. Various people had various suggestions, I overheard them. Some people insisted that we leave it with the Select Committee on Health. Some people said, let's have a joint one. So, various opinions came out. But we cannot satisfy all the opinions. But I think so far, when we have an issue on education, an issue on health, an issue on local government, an issue on specific issues, let's give the responsible institutions. They have in-house knowledge of what had been happening. They have background knowledge, and they will be able to advise better. Special select committees are special in nature, multifaceted. And COVID-19 was that particular one. COVID-19 was it is an international catastrophe. It is multifaceted. It has security, defense, and everything inside. And it came on unawares, and therefore the committee selected was carved out and brought into it. So, honorable members, if I have it your way, it looks like most people will want the Committee on Health to go about it. But I want us all to agree. Yeah? Yeah, I'll give you the floor. I want us all to agree and accept one principle and move forward with that. I will encourage Honorable, is it Minority Leader? And then, where? And then from there we have Latrikunda Sabiji. I don't want us to involve into another debate. And then we have the Majority Leader. Honorable Minority, please.
Thank you. I think I need to point it out. When we were preparing the resolution, and then observations were made exactly on the committee that's supposed to handle this. For the issue of special select committee, we have an issue with Standing Order 95-5, which reads, special committees may be established to deal with any specific time-bounded matters on a motion setting out the terms of references thereof and tabled by the Committee of Selection. That means you need the Committee of Selection to come with a motion for special select committee. Special select committee cannot be emanated here when it is not brought forward by the special select committee. That's the issue we have with special select committee, which I want to put to your attention.
Sorry, Latikunda Sabiji.
Very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I just concur and reinforce myself onto what the Honorable Minority Leader just said, so I don't want to say further. Thank
you. Majority Leader.
Yes, I think we are going by your proposal for us to allow the Select Committee on Health to really go ahead, hence the study the thing, to limit it to Health Committee and giving them the terms of reference to operate on that and beg their indulgence to support the initiative. Thank you.
Honorable members, I think we are now all on the same wavelength. I would therefore, before putting the question, want to once again thank you all. And honestly request from the Committee on Health
the other issue I think I want to believe should be added in the motion of the terms of reference. It is for the committee to commence the business from where the Health Committee stops. This was not directly reflective in the motion, if that can be added there. So that was a... Now the Health Committee, they started the work and they've gone very far. If they can start from where they stop, rather than going back, invite all the institutions that they dealt with before, then since we have not added any order, then it's better they start from where they stop.
I think that should be understood. That they have been on it, and all what we want to ensure is the TOR, they must make sure they address all our concerns. The TOR should be your reference point, because remember it ended, the TOR ended with one statement. I don't know whether you people are aware of that statement. Any other related matter. We have enumerated 1, 2, 3, going, and said any other related matter. So it's an open-ended thing. We want to capture everything honestly and sincerely, so that we are going to make informed recommendations, decisions that we're going to do on behalf of the people of the country. And my minority said it, and I want to re-echo it. When we face these things, let's open up. Go blank and start again. Otherwise, you have something in your head that minority did this wrong. It's in your head. You always have it there, and you will not be objective. Let's be open and make sure we do justice to the whole thing. And be mindful of repercussions. Because at the end, we want Gambia to gain. We want Gambians to benefit. We must remember that. So, Parliamentary. Member for Parliamentary, I understand.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. But I want honorable members to put this at the back of our mind, that there is also a select committee on gender, children, and social welfare, and this thing has already seriously affected our own children. So what will be the essence of setting that committee of gender, children, and social welfare? Yes, we have all confidence and trust in the health committee, but I don't think this would be a problem of joining this health committee to work this professionally. Thank you.
Yeah, honorable member, I think we have recognized that. That's why it was created. But this is not specific to it. This is
I think we can.
Let me learn. This is not a very much cross-cutting issue. This is about a syrup that was produced, contaminated, brought in, and taken by children, and they got infections. That is purely medical. It affected children, yes, but it's a purely medical issue. And two, I think the Select Committee on Health, if they need capacities, they want information, they will be able to invite people to give them information. But if you want to start it anew, it means some of the members who will be there will have to begin to know what has happened. before they catch up again. So, honorable member, please, I think we have already grounded on this one with various different opinions, though, which we respect very much. We just want to ensure that we conclude on this and then move forward. If you look at the standing order itself, standing order 107, subsection 1A and B, it says, where a matter may be of concern to two or more committees, those are the relevant committees, it may be dealt with by first one by one of the relevant committees disposing of it in accordance with the standing order 108. Two or more committees are interested, you can take one to deal with it on behalf of all of them. That's one. Then the second one is the relevant committees sitting concurrently. You have a big number, all the committees coming up, sitting together. I don't think that would do justice to the whole thing. So, honorable members, with the proposed amendments made by the honorable minority leader, which we have captured, and I think it should be noted by the Committee on Health, I now put the question that be it resolved that this honorable assembly do adopt the motion on the acute kidney injury resulting to the death of at least 70 children in the Gambia. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Honorable members, let me thank all the Honorable Minister of Health and his technical backup, and all Honorable Ministers here in present. We cherish your concern over this national issue, and we applaud you for sparing time to be with us here. Honorable members, once again, I thank all of you for your contributions. This is the third extraordinary session, and we want to thank you very much. On that note, honorable members, be it resolved that this August Assembly do stand adjourned, sine die. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. This Assembly now stands adjourned, sine die. Thank you.